There's just so much.
You're listening to a Mamamia podcast.
Mamamia acknowledges the traditional owners of land and waters that this podcast is recorded on. Hello and welcome to Cancelled, the podcast that looks at silly celebrity crimes and assigns charges and sentences to them so we can all move on with our lives. I'm Claire Stevens and I'm joined by Jessie Stevens. And Jessie, do you have a lazy girl story for us?
I do, and it's the lazy girl story that I am shocked that we've not had before. It's not that the lazy girls don't do it, it's just that they're too lazy to have ever reported this behaviour and they think that everyone does it.
No, that's the really hard thing about studying lazy girls as we do as like an anthropological thing is the laziness in the reporting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you've always lived that way, who's to know?
Yeah.
Who's to know it's a little unusual? That's why we need Lissy to talk about her lazy girl wife.
Oh.
Okay, because then she's observed this behaviour.
Okay.
Hi, hope you're all well. I have a lazy girl story.
Lovely.
Yes. My wife just told me that in the shower she can't be bothered shaving her very hairy legs properly. So mostly she just shaves a few lines here and there. So I'm guessing her legs look like someone has mowed the lawn badly.
Lazy girl.
She's a lazy girl. Claire, do you relate?
Yeah, okay, because
I always think you only need to shave the front of your legs. Discuss.
Okay, front of your legs. See, I'm more picking an arbitrary point. I'm more, I'll shave the calf up to the knee.
Yeah, I remember Mum telling us that as teenagers.
Yeah.
That she's like, oh, you never shave above a knee. And I was like, oh, no, you
Like,
absolutely
I'm
do. And then I remember
really
spotting Mum one day
hairy.
and being like, yeah, you got a few hairs above your knee.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
what happens when you don't shave it. But I feel as though, I mean, who hasn't worn a 3/4 dress and gone, oh, we shan't be. But you never get it quite right, do you?
No. But lazy girls, shaving is hard and often it really does take going out on a sunny day and catching the hairs in the light and going, okay, we've gone too far. We must shave.
We must shave the entire area.
It's a lot. Jessie, on today's episode, we're talking about Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh gosh, I gotta. Jada Pinkett Smith.
My first guest tonight is an actress you know as the co-creator and co-host of Red Table Talk. She has just written a new memoir, Worthy. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Jada Pinkett Smith.
I'm a mean girl. I'm going to tell you what I am, and that's a petty bitch. Okay? I'm a petty bitch because here's the thing. But if you do something to me, baby.
Jada Corinne Pinkett Smith is an American actress and talk show host. She's won a daytime Emmy for her Facebook Watch talk show, Red Table Talk,
Here we are at the table.
which has been viewed by billions
of
with
people.
a B.
Yes, including us.
Yes, she's an acclaimed actress and is best known for roles in Menace to Society, The Nutty Professor.
I didn't realise she was in The Nutty Professor, and now this all makes a lot
I
more
know.
sense.
I'm
Okay,
like, what a film.
You are too fine to be giving me curbside service.
I'm not. I'm leaving.
What you talking about leaving? We just got here.
No, you just got here. I've been waiting for you for almost an hour.
Hey, now they say anticipation helps make the appetite grow stronger, if you know what I mean.
Anticipate a night alone.
Did someone wear a fat suit in that?
Yeah. Was it Eddie Murphy? Is he the Nutty
yeah.
Professor?
Oh,
yeah.
we should look into that.
No,
'cause
I'm
that's
pretty sure that
cancelable.
needs to be cancelled. But it's not Jada's fault.
No.
And she was also in a movie called Set It Off.
Never heard of it.
And more recently, in Bad Mums.
I think I liked that movie.
Bad Mums is an objectively excellent film. It's actually
Who's
really,
in
really
it?
good. Mila Kunis, Kristen.
I think I enjoyed it.
Yeah. They're really funny.
Okay.
It's like Mom's Gone Wild type thing.
Yeah.
And Girls Trip.
I got drugs in my booty.
You know what? That can cause a lot of infection.
Girl, you can't get no infection in your booty hole. It's a booty hole.
Pinkett Smith is married to actor Will Smith, a friend of the cancel courtroom. I think that he may have entered the cancel courtroom when he slapped Chris Rock. And together they have 2 kids, Jaden and Willow. Do you notice anything, Jessie, about those 2 names? Jaden and Willow.
Oh, shit. I've only just noticed.
What did you notice?
One is like the name Jada and one is like the name Will.
Okay, I'm allowed to make fun of that.
I know, I'm not.
You're not. Why
No,
are you not allowed to make
Because
fun of that?
I accidentally named my daughter Luna and her father is Luca.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that what my partner was doing was simply changing a single letter. It's created
Of his own
confusion.
name?
I think it's a sign of ego.
Mm.
It's a sign of narcissism. It's similar to, and we have discussed this, junior.
Yeah. yeah.
But in an American context, it's play on. In Australia, little.
I don't know, Jaden and Willow, it's like you've actually gone to some effort
Yeah.
to create
New names.
children in your image.
Yes. Yes.
Her memoir, Worthy, has just been released. And that's why she's in the zeitgeist right now. Because the vibe is a little bit, Jada, do less.
I think the vibe has always been a bit Jada, do less.
We know too much. And specifically, we know too much about things about which we did not ask.
Which was a similar, remember Will wrote that book? I believe it was called Will.
Yeah.
He
It was
wrote
like
Will.
2021, 2022.
And it
We'll
was
get to
similar.
it.
And it
Yeah.
was just like every page, didn't ask, don't care, didn't ask, still reading. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's like, would you like an episode of Red Table Talk about that?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
How about an interview?
Uh-uh.
Absolutely did not need that.
Because, okay, this is the issue. And well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it with more detail. But here's a little problem with Will and our good friend Jada. Their currency in the world is a lot to do with their lives. And there's only so much life you can mine.
Because you've only got one.
Because you've only got one. And it becomes repetitive. Because you've
And
kind of got
contradictory.
kids, marriage, career, friends.
Yeah.
And
If
when
you're-
not much happens, it's boring. And when too much happens, it's unbelievable. I don't know. I don't like it.
But it's like, it's just, you're creating a lot of content out of one life.
Out of one life.
Yeah.
Which is the issue with people who only write memoir.
Yeah.
It's like every 5 years they write a new memoir. And it's like, has enough life happened?
Yeah.
Because I'm 32 and I don't have half a memoir in me yet.
No. So Jada loves a revelation, and we're taking her to the courtroom to essentially ask, how much revelation be too much?
How much revelation is too much revelation? I think she passed the revelation threshold. Probably. Did she put a child on Red Table Talk and talk about sexuality or something?
Yeah.
I think that was the limits.
Willow's like a consistent host. Jesse, my structure for today is as follows. Revelations from the memoir. Wait, you've been separated for 7 years?
Does that not go under revelations from the
No, it's slightly separate. A man named August.
Excuse me, that's an entanglement.
The slap. And Red Table Talk being too much.
Okay.
Revelations from the memoir.
I need this because I haven't read the memoir and I shan't read the memoir.
No, nobody
But I
shall.
have, against my will, listened to multiple interviews.
Yes. Just these are more the very low stakes.
Theory.
Yes.
You must disappear before you write a memoir.
Yes. She's been too present.
You can't be present during the creation of the memoir, reveal everything, and then put those revelations together chronologically in a memoir.
And then be like, buy it.
Yeah. It's like that woman who, I'm glad my mother died. It's not called that.
Yeah.
You know, Jenny.
Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah. Fabulous. She disappeared.
Yeah. And then she came out and
You've got
everyone's
to
like,
disappear
what?
and write your memoir. You can't be public and write your memoir.
Well, these are the revelations that are more low stakes and absurd.
Yeah. But it's like Prince Harry had to do the same. It's like no one's going to buy it without your revelations. Come on.
Now that is how you write memoir. Jada Pinkett Smith says she knew she was pregnant with Jaden seconds after she and Will had sex.
She's a liar.
She said, it felt like there's a lock that looks like a big round steering wheel.
Wheel or will?
Wheel.
Okay.
When you turn it, it locks with a click. That's what it felt like in my womb. 1, not a good metaphor. 2, what?
3, same.
Okay, because so she told
Jada and I have a lot in common.
She told Will she was pregnant immediately after they had sex. She was like,
okay, that's a little bit weird because she didn't know. She didn't know.
She was like, we just conceived. He called a friend to laugh about it. Then 2 weeks later, she did a bunch of pregnancy tests and they were positive. Jesse, does Jada Pinkett Smith have the rare ability to sense the conception of a child? Yes or no?
Yes. She's spiritual. She's woo-woo. In preparation for this podcast, I listened to 20 minutes of her on Jay Shetty, and she is insufferable.
Ooh, the stages of getting to the most authentic, and it's difficult. So I just want to honor that for a second. Like, it's almost like talking about relationships and the romanticism around the idea of relating is sometimes as detrimental as talking about politics and God, because it's such a staple in how people look at marriage and relating culturally.
I love her, but that 20 minutes was one of the most painful things I've ever listened to. It goes like this.
She doesn't make a lot of sense.
She doesn't make a lot of sense. And she's like, I had to learn to be courageous, you know, and listen. And courage is about bravery.
And bravery is about listening.
And it's just, and her and Jay are just like, you're a good listener. No, you're a good, and I'm like, whoa.
Where am I in this conversation?
What's in this for me? And also like, and I think this will be a theme. That's a chat.
That's a chat. That's not an interview.
That's a chat,
Yeah,
not an interview. Because he knows the answer to all the questions because him and Jada are good friends.
Well, Jessie, I'm going to challenge you on something because you're saying a lot about Jada, but I've already picked two things in common that you have with Jada. One, naming your children slightly different names to you and your partner.
Believing you can sense conception.
Yeah, because you, when you were pregnant, you were like, oh, yeah, I know.
I
when
knew
I
the second.
conceived.
I would describe it as like a lock. Wait, what was the metaphor? I would describe it as like a lock in a click door, much like Jada.
You and Jada should talk about that.
We should.
So she sensed the conception of Jaden. She's pregnant. Then she gets married to Will Smith. And she goes on to say in the memoir that she really didn't want to marry Will and she cried walking down the aisle. This man.
That editor. She's reading that book going, oh, bloody lovely. That's gone in the press release.
The problem is she already shared that specifically about Will.
You know, I thought it was familiar. Yeah, she has said that.
Yeah.
How many times can you say that and be surprised?
I know.
Yeah.
Another revelation that isn't really a revelation. So she talks about how she was really close friends with the late rapper Tupac Shakur.
I've seen this on TikTok.
Which we already knew. We knew that they met at Baltimore School for the Arts in Maryland. But in a recent interview, she refers to him as her soulmate.
And there's just this level of comfort.
Yeah.
We just knew each other. The moment Pac saw me and our eyes, and I saw his peanut head across the room at Baltimore School for the Arts, it was like I knew him already.
And she says, if there is such a thing as past lives, I definitely think Pac and I had travelled a few together, you know, in various forms.
Pac his last name?
It's her nickname for him.
But like is his first name too, last name Pac?
No, it's Tupac Shakur.
Okay, but Pac is what she calls him because they're soulmates. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So she said,
I need you to know that I've spent 45 seconds on TikTok in the last month because I don't have a lot of time. And this is what I saw.
Yeah,
I need
okay.
you to know that that's what my
Her
algorithm
talking about
decided
Tupac.
I needed to see. Yeah.
Well, she said it was a friendship, love, chemistry, not romantic.
We just got each other. I just understood him. In that understanding, and he understood me, so we could pull each other's coattails, but we could also join each other. When I talk about that joining, when you can sit with somebody and really feel like they see you, they understand you, they care about you, and they're going to be there by you no matter what. That was Tupac.
It was almost like God made us that way. It was like, look, we'll put y'all together. You're going to be a dynamic duo, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to make it.
This isn't making
We're
sense.
not going to be able to get together. Basically, she's saying they were very, very good friends, but it was never romantic.
Okay, so I didn't know anything about Tupac and Jada before I watched this TikTok, but I understood less about their relationship afterwards because
Yes.
she was like, he proposed to me.
While he was in
Prison.
Yes.
And she said no because they were already married, but they weren't married, but they were good friends. And I was like, wait, what?
Correct. So it's come out previously that Will Smith was jealous of their friendship because they were very,
Yeah,
very
that's because
close.
she keeps saying that
He's a
Tupac
soulmate.
is a soulmate
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
cried walking down the aisle to Will.
Yeah.
So I would also harbour some jealousy.
Yes, but the thing is, in that interview that you've seen on your TikTok, it's a Showtime interview. So she talks about Tupac being at Rikers, which is like a famous prison.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
She said that like I knew what Rikers
Yeah,
was.
yeah. And he proposed to her. She said no. And she goes into how she knew at the time he needed somebody to do time with him, which I was
Yes.
going to do anyway. You don't have to marry me.
Yeah,
to
I
do
don't get
time.
that. Does she literally mean time?
I think she's like, I'm going to be there for you while you're in prison.
Okay.
Do you know why he was in prison?
No.
He sexually abused a fan.
Oh.
Yeah. And I just think, I went, why does this all feel so funny? This like, oh, we love Tupac. It's very tragic that he died. But when I looked into it, the man was a criminal. And he sexually assaulted a fan and ended up in prison for it. And actually, there are a lot more serious charges that there wasn't enough evidence for. But he ended up in prison for that. And then I'm listening to Jada sing his praises and how amazing he was.
And how she was going to be there while they did time to...
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit like
that.
Yeah, she's like, he was in bad shape and, having to leave him there was painful. It's a little bit, how was his victim?
It is a little bit, how was his victim?
Yeah, I don't know.
Should check in on her.
I'm feeling funny
interesting.
about it.
That is a cross.
And
Besides a few names, Pac's name
yep.
and Jada a little bit.
And speaking of,
Yeah.
I know we're not in a real courtroom and we stay away from real crimes because we know nothing of them.
No.
But Jada Pinkett Smith writes in her memoir about full being a drug dealer of crack cocaine.
Hi, sir. How are you this evening? The two of us are very interested in purchasing some crack cocaine.
I mean, I guess nobody's going to go after Jada Pinkett Smith for having been a drug dealer years and years ago.
No. Like, am I allowed to say, like I didn't, but am I allowed to say, oh, I used to be...
I wouldn't come out and say that.
I wouldn't come out and say it.
Puts a target on my back.
It does. If it's like, I robbed
Yeah.
of at 22.
I just keep it private.
We have to hide our crimes. I feel like that's part of being a criminal.
So she talks about how it put her in a lot of danger. She hurt a lot of people along the way. I mean, there is context to it, which is that she grew up, she had a really, really rough childhood and her mum was addicted to heroin.
She talks about this with Jay.
Yeah, and so I totally get that. But there is something uncomfortable about like revelation, bam, I was a drug dealer.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's a crime.
That could be used in court. Well, we don't know how court works, but like...
but it could be.
Yeah. If she tried to defend herself, I feel as though, you know how they're like, don't say nothing or it'll be used against you in court?
Yeah.
It's like she said a lot.
Yeah, in writing.
Yes.
That is published. Speaking of revelations, we're going to get to the fact that her and Will have been separated for 7 years. Ahead of the release of Jada Pinkett Smith's memoir,
She needed something fresh.
and big.
She needed something fresh and big. So, what could it be? She's already said she hates Will.
So she sat down with Hoda Kotb for a primetime interview on NBC. During the interview, she discussed the fact that she and Will have lived separate lives for 7 years.
I have so many questions.
A divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
Yes.
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
She told People magazine that she and Will have been doing some really heavy-duty work together. They've got a deep love for each other. We're trying to figure out what that looks like.
What is the work?
We're still figuring it out.
What does work look like?
Are you together or are you not together? It sounds a lot like you are not together. She said she was shocked.
When was her entanglement? Was that prior?
2020. We'll get to August.
What?
Yeah.
Then it wasn't even an entanglement.
Obviously,
it was simply a relationship.
That was what I yelled as soon as I heard this. I went, well, what was August? Well, that doesn't seem like...
You know what the slap was? A stranger slapping another man for something said about you.
Exactly.
Get my wife's name out of your...
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I'm going to, okay?
She said she was shocked when Will Smith yelled at Chris Rock to keep his wife's name out of his mouth at the Oscars because they hadn't called each other husband and wife in a long time.
Mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife
Yeah.
in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's name.
out of your
Yes,
mouth,
yes.
right?
So confused.
Yeah. And look, this would all be absolutely fine if it didn't feel like Jada Pinkett Smith had been talking to us about her marriage a lot over the last 7 years.
Especially at the red table.
In the last few years, she has denied and then admitted to an extramarital entanglement with her son's friend August.
Oh, Mom!
Her and Will appeared on multiple Red Table Talk episodes, diving into their love story and marital struggles. They've made countless appearances on red carpets. And Will released his memoir that said they'd weathered tough times but were still together. Then, of course, he did the slap.
This is the problem with too many memoirs in one family. The revelations begin to contradict each other.
They do.
Because she needs a revelation that was fresh from Will's revelation, but the revelation is
from the same
inconsistent.
marriage. Yes. In a 2018 episode of Red Table Talk, 2 years after they'd apparently separated, Will said, "There's nothing that could happen that we won't be together and love each other. It's because we cracked each other's heads wide open. We set each other free."
I don't like this
and people,
metaphor.
No, he said, we set each other free and people really struggle with that. No, it's not that people struggle
with it. It's that you're divorced.
It's that you lie.
You're separated. You're two separate people.
And then in his memoir, he writes about a tough time in their marriage. We were both miserable and clearly something had to change. But he never says that change meant living separately. Then he writes, all the way to my marriage to today, I've only been single for a total of 15 days. Just
exhausted.
So confusing.
I'm exhausted by this marriage.
And then she said in the NBC interview,
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to figure out between the two of us how to be in partnership and how do we present that to people, you know?
And here's the thing, Jada. You can just say, you can actually just say, we're separated, we're no longer together. People do it every day. People do it especially celebrities. Everyone gets separated and divorced.
We absolutely respect it. But you do not present yourself as though you are some kind of Victoria and David.
Yeah.
Who are dancing. Claire, what's the song?
Sail away with me to another place. Like, come on.
Like Claire and I keep sending each other that gif whenever anything sad happens because it makes us feel so happy because they do their white person dance. It's like, that is pure love.
Yeah.
That is a pure marriage. You don't get to cosplay David and Victoria when you aren't even living together.
Yeah, when you're not together.
Victoria loves David despite and because of his bees. You wouldn't even know about Will's bees.
Yeah,
if you haven't seen
together.
the documentary David Has Bees.
What's the name of your honey again? There's a bit of a argument in the house at the moment. I think it should be golden bees. Victoria likes DB sticky stuff.
Jesse, this is how people have responded to the news. Can you please read these tweets?
Yes. Everything I have ever learned about Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's relationship has been against my will. I completely agree with that.
Yes.
I have no interest in either of them, celebrity-wise. We've both said, will anyone click on this episode? Do people care about Jada Pinkett Smith? And despite it all, here she is.
Yeah.
She's just always in the headlines. I saw something when I was trying to go, okay, Jada Pinkett Smith vibe. I looked it up on my podcast and it literally goes, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith and Israel Palestine. Like they were the two biggest. It was a news like a CNN podcast.
Yeah, okay.
And they put those together and I was like, are they?
Equal weight.
Are they equal weight? Are they the two biggest stories? Jada thinks so. How do we collectively unplug from Jada Pinkett Smith's stream of consciousness? This is exactly it. You know what it's like? It's like we've been added to a group chat with Jada Pinkett Smith.
Look at the next tweet.
Oh my God. It's like we're stuck in a group chat where Jada Pinkett is the only one who can send messages and we can't leave. That's exactly it. I feel as though I'm in that group chat and I don't want to leave because it'll say Jesse Stevens left the chat and I don't want to upset Jada. But it's also like I don't need
to know this.
I don't need to know these things.
Jesse, how about these two tweets?
Okay. Jada Pinkett Smith reveals that she yes. Jada Pinkett Smith reveals she released COVID-19 from the Wuhan lab in December 2019 and it's her smiling and like it's next to a COVID.
Yes.
That will be the next revelation. When the book doesn't sell as well as possible. Should do it.
I released COVID.
Jada Pinkett Smith reveals that she is two-pack.
She is two-pack.
That she is two-pack. This is so good.
And there's another one that's like Jada Pinkett Smith reveals she's never met Will Smith. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot.
Like
you just got to keep revealing.
I love the revelation. She's stuck in a revelation cycle.
Speaking of, a man named August. In 2020, singer August Alsina claimed he had a relationship with Jada, who he met through her son Jaden at a 2015 music festival. Now, keep in mind, it's not I was going to say it's not a huge deal, but I feel like it is. So he would have been like mid-20s at the time, and she would have been mid to late 40s. Play on. Do we think it's play on?
I think it's play on. Everything's consensual. Men do it all the time. Go down.
Yeah, true. Okay.
And she needed a revelation for her book.
She did need a revelation. So August, who I'm sure he is an excellent singer, but I have never heard of him outside the context of this. He said, I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation. Due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership, he gave me his blessing.
This is my forehead banging the microphone because I don't care.
I don't understand. But Jada got really upset by that later because she's like, no, he didn't need Will's permission. He just needed my permission. And also, by the way, we're not together. Whatever. Anyway, August.
Of course he didn't need Will's permission. That's like asking the boyfriend I had in year 7 for permission for anything.
It would be weird. August said, I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life.
August
is what
you need to understand. We care marginally about Will Smith because he was really good in
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
We care less about Jada Pinkett Smith because she was just in
The Nutty Professor.
The Nutty Professor. We care so little about you, August.
About August.
And your relationship to Jada.
He was like too emotional about it. He's like, I devoted myself to this relationship so much so to the point I can die right now and be okay with knowing that I truly gave myself to somebody. It's just very earnest.
Yeah, save it for the memoir.
Yeah. About their breakup, he said he had never been in love in that kind of way.
What songs have Jada Pinkett Smith sung? Does she sing songs?
She does. She is the lead singer in a band, which is apparently very good.
Oh, yeah. What's the band called?
Weird something. It's like a rock band.
Have I heard it?
No, I had not heard of it. I came across it during my strange research poll.
Okay. I just went onto Spotify because I was like, okay, I want to hear Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, you're a musician. And the first one is like exclusive. I just wanted to stay alive until 4 p.m.
What?
Me and Will are not together. Tupac kissed me. And then in capital letters twice. This is with Stephen Bartlett. It's like, Jada, this is why no one takes your music career seriously because all this is revelations.
No, it's a band, so you got to search the band name.
Okay. It's very rock.
Yeah.
It's very rock, but you know what listening to Jada Pinkett Smith music makes me think? More career, less revelation.
Yeah, actually.
The career to revelation ratio, whoa, way out.
Yeah.
Way out. See, Matthew McConaughey gets to write his book and Revelation because he's been in some films such as Ghosts of My Girlfriend's Past or whatever it was called, right?
Was he in that? I don't know.
Of course, he was a starring role.
Reynolds.
Oh my goodness, it was Matthew McConaughey. And he was in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, blah, blah, blah. Like, absolutely career, 10 out of 10, and then we drop some revelations. Same, actually, you know who else has steered into the too many revelations, not enough career?
Who?
Prince Harry. Yeah. It really annoys us when we over revelation.
Yeah, do more. I agree. You can have revelations so long as you are doing other things as well.
Yes.
But when we're actually using work time for revelations, that's frustrating.
Because then we start to go, interesting revelation, who are you? And then we go,
when was the last time
No, you're Will Smith's wife. You're not. What? This is the problem.
That's the tension, yeah.
So I think she's just got to build up the career, lower the revelation.
She's a good actress and a good singer.
Yeah. Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith have released a song together like years and years ago. I'm just going to find it. Okay. I think I'll put this on the record. Will Smith, quite a good musician.
No.
Did that Men in Black song.
Excellent.
The other day, I turned on my television and I realised that Men in Black was halfway through playing and I went, who's been watching this? That's strange. Then I was like, Dad's been over. Of course he's watched half of Men in Black. Anyway, here we go.
Will, this is very you.
You know what it sounds like? What? If I put into AI, Will Smith's song Feet, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
That's what it would come up with.
Yeah.
That beat. And seeing this, Will Smith feat Jada Pinkett Smith, it's become very Jada Pinkett Smith feat Will Smith. That should be on the cover of Worthy, her memoir.
Yeah.
Feat Will Smith. To a lesser extent, August.
Jesse, as soon as the story about August came out, Jada's representative swiftly issued a denial to Page 6, saying it was absolutely not true. What is this man? What is he even saying? So denied. Then the next month, Will and Jada sat down for a red table talk to address something they said they never intended on discussing publicly.
You don't get to steal my revelation.
She said, if anyone's going to have this revelation, I'm going to have it
at my red table
on my
Facebook. Emmy award-winning Facebook.
So she said,
4 years ago, started a friendship with August. And we actually became really, really good friends.
It fucking sounds like it. She said it all started with him just needing some help.
Me wanting to help his health, his mental state.
Then she admitted that this entanglement happened while she and Smith were separated.
From there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August. One thing I want to get clear about and clean up, one of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission. You know, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Which to me suggests the separation wasn't a permanent state.
No.
Because she talks about it like it was transitory.
Yeah.
She told Will, you and I were going through a very difficult time. And he was like, yeah, I was done with your ass. And they're joking about how he kicked her to the curb. So they talk about...
Relationships don't have to be this complicated. You're allowed to pull the plug.
Yeah. So then she talks about her entanglement.
And then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes. It was a relationship. Absolutely.
Again, like entanglement.
Let's use the right word.
Cheating.
Let's use the right word.
Cheat. Or, actually, no cheating. You just slept with a guy. That's absolutely fine.
You know, and I guess this is like in the podcasting world because there's a lot of people who talk a lot, right, and have platforms that use the wrong word for what they mean. You sound articulate. We've talked about this before. NQR, not quite right. Not quite right, the word you just used. Entanglement is one of them.
It's
not right in the affair.
It sounds like it wasn't conscious. It sounds like it was, oh, what? I'm now entangled. No, well, no, you fell.
Yeah. It sounds very passive.
Yeah,
it sounds plant-like. It sounds like roots that can't untangle.
Yes. So she told the whole story about her in August. It wasn't particularly interesting. And then said that she and Will Smith had arrived at a place of unconditional love.
One of the things that I'm deeply grateful in this whole process between you and I is that we have really gotten to that new place of unconditional love.
Because I wasn't sure I was ever going to speak to you again.
I know.
Yeah, like the fact that I'm speaking to you again is a miracle.
Then at the end of the session, they ended by saying, 25 years and counting, we ride together, we die together.
No.
And then Will making a joke that is like that quote from Bad Boys. He's like, bad marriage for life. Now.
No, you do not have the purity of loving each other.
We can't compare everyone to David and Victoria.
It's not the same.
Jessie, I have 3 questions. 1, why do I know about August? 2, why are you sleeping with your son's friend? 3, why does any of this matter if you're not even married? And I'm, in fact, single.
Well, can I make a suggestion?
What?
Purchase her memoir Worthy for $34.99. And maybe it will answer some of these questions.
Jessie, the slap.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
In March 2022, comedian Chris Rock was presenting at the Oscars when he made a G.I. Jane joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who was sitting right at the front of the room beside her husband Will, who was nominated for Best Actor for his role in King Richard.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay.
It still strikes me as such a coincidence that they happened to be in the front row. Do you know what I mean? Like they were right there. They were in prime slapping position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pinkett.
Yeah, like imagine if they were towards the back, how long the slap would have taken.
Yeah.
Like it would have been a 15-minute lead up to the slap. I will defend their positioning at the front. I won't position Jada because she was simply the ex-partner of a man nominated for a thing. It's like Jada really shouldn't have even copped an invite. But Will was nominated for Best Actor, so that's why I would have been at the front.
Yes. So she has been open about how she has alopecia, hence her short haircut, and clearly Will Smith felt it was an unfair joke because he stood up, stormed on stage, and slapped Chris Rock across the face. He also yelled, "Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth."
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Which now has like a melody in my head as I say it because remember it went, keep my wife's name out your, like it became a song on TikTok.
Yeah.
Quite immature really. But it was fun at the time. Smith won Best Actor, but then was banned from the Oscars gala and other Academy events for 10 years, which feels super embarrassing.
It does, but justified.
So justified. But it's just like,
yeah, it's embarrassing.
You can't go for 10 years. So naughty. Anyway, Jada has shared new context for that whole story. Given that they, drumroll please.
Mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. But I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
my wife's
name out of your mouth.
Weren't actually fucking together.
Wait, hasn't Jada already shared context on this story? I'm pretty sure she did a Red Table Talk about it.
No. New context.
You can't just keep revealing more.
Yes, you can. There are always more layers. There are always more layers. She says Chris Rock had actually asked her out before when there were divorce rumors circulating about her and Will. And she was like, no, Chris, they're just tabloid rumors. And it's like, were they?
No, they weren't. They were
Because you're
legitimate.
actually not together because the tabloids seem to be telling
They haven't been
more
together for
truth.
7 years.
Yeah.
Chris is like, this woman's been single for 5 years. I think I can ask her out. And she's like, no, it's inappropriate. I used to be in an entanglement with August. He's 22. Please.
Be respectful. She also said she initially thought it was a skit and didn't think it was real.
Same, Jada.
And afterwards, Chris came down and spoke to her and said, Jada, I meant no harm.
And Chris looks to me and he says, Jada, I meant you no harm. Now, I'm just out of it because I'm really worried about
And
Will.
what's Will doing? He's just sitting there?
And Will's still talking. He's like, he's still, because now he's mad because Chris is talking to me. And I go, Chris, this is about some old shit. That's all I can think to say, right?
You're all really immature. You're all real. Like, stop with the drama. You're at a work event. You're actually at a work event.
You are.
Stop her.
Yeah.
So basically, she's like, there were a lot of layers of weirdness to that, considering we weren't married, Chris had asked me out, etc. Some new context. Jessie, red table talk being too much.
Is that still a thing?
No. She's done some announcements about it coming back, maybe.
Okay, because I
But
just
it's
feel
not
like
on right
Facebook
now.
isn't the channel it once was.
No.
So I'm just going to go to Facebook and just see when her last red table talk was. So it has 10 million followers, which is a lot. Yeah, no, she hasn't done a talk in a while. Oh, the last one was in March.
Huh. Jess, in the first episode of Red Table Talk, Jada interviewed Will Smith's ex-wife, Sherry Zampino. She expresses regret in that interview for dating Will when he was still married.
Jesus.
To Zampino, saying, because I did not understand marriage, I did not understand divorce, I probably should have fell back. Zampino responded, you think?
For me, it really was just about maturity. Just not understanding the marital dynamic. Like, okay, well, if divorce papers are sent and people are over it, then this is done. It's like, guess what? It ain't never done.
We just getting started.
Right, exactly. We just getting started.
That episode was in 2018, and it's like, Jada, you were talking to Will's ex-wife, but you were also his ex,
Yeah.
but not being honest about it. And also, that is
what we're struggling with, I feel, is the amount of currency, money, relevance she gained from being Will Smith's wife while not being Will Smith's wife. That's what we're struggling with. I think.
Yes. And at least Sherry was honest about no longer being Will Smith's wife.
Yes.
But it also said, like, in hindsight, it's like that's a pretty, I don't know, surface level grab for content. Like if I was like, I'm bored, what do I do? I might get my husband's ex.
But it's the ultimate revelation for the memoir. Like she obviously needs a big one. And it's like, Will Smith's wife has written a memoir. She's like, not Will Smith's wife.
Like, what?
Wow. I mean, it's very, you've told us what's in the book. This is the problem with memoirs and nonfiction books.
Is
We've
the
discussed
promo
it. Is
can
the promo
cannibalize the
exactly what happens
the sales
when your whole book is about not being Will Smith's wife? You do an interview saying you're not Will Smith's wife, and then at the end you're like, buy my book, and everyone's like, we kind of get the gist.
Yeah, you kind of said it all in that interview. In another episode of Red Table Talk, Jada shares she learned about masturbation from her grandmother. My grandmother taught me about self-pleasuring because she wanted me to know that that pleasure was from me. She didn't want me to fall into the hands of a man.
No. This is what I mean about using a lot of words to say not much, because this was a Jay Shetty interview. The pauses and the intonation suggest that what's just been said
is profound.
So profound. And they pause to just be like, I'll let you digest that.
He said, open every door that you possibly can. The doors that close, let them close, and just keep walking through the ones that remain open.
And Jay's like,
and then you're like, wait a second.
Whoa. And then Jada's like, no, whoa. And they go back and forth. But what she's just said is she taught me about self-pleasuring because she wanted me to know that that pleasure was from me. That's what self-pleasuring means. What we've got here is a tautology.
We've got a circular sentence.
We've got a circular sentence. There are a lot of circular sentences. And that is how this woman, a content genius of our age, creates so much content. Because of the circular nature of every sentence.
Jessie,
I grew up as I aged.
Whoa. Jessie, how old do you think Jada was when her grandmother taught her to masturbate?
It's just a lot. It's just a lot for a Tuesday.
She was 9.
Okay.
She was 9. And it's like, it's just a lot.
I'm happy for everyone involved.
But there's layers. There's layers. Because it's
that's not enough.
Masturbation, grandma taught me at age 9.
Yeah.
She got addicted. She said, you get addicted because you can create so much pleasure. You just constantly want it. I also love the use of language to make it sound like we're all in this together. And it's like, I was not having that experience at 9. Honestly, all power to you. But
that's the thing about people who reveal a lot is that it's like part of them is like, this is a universal experience. So it's like, yeah, I too had an entanglement with my son's 22-year-old friend. And it's like, not really it. And she's like, all right, I'll find something more relatable. I couldn't stop masturbating at 9 because of my grandmother.
Also
not it.
Not right.
I don't even know my husband.
Not quite.
Jada Pinkett Smith has managed never to say anything relatable.
Jess, the other thing about Red Table Talk is that often it is her revelation, but sometimes it's other people's revelations. Because she's a bit like, come on, I've shared everything.
I shared.
Why don't you come share?
I shared.
So she's had all sorts of celebrities. She had like Demi Moore's kids talking about how Demi Moore was an alcoholic, all of that.
And I took her to rehab on the plane, which was the scariest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Do you refer to yourself as an addict?
I fully identify as an addict alcoholic. I think my whole nature is really all or nothing. I have 2 speeds, go and go faster, and I do not have an off switch.
Right.
But in another episode,
fabulous,
she had Matthew McConaughey on talking about how his relationship with his mother broke down after his rise to fame.
Interesting.
This was while he was promoting his book, Green Lights.
All right.
Jesse, he was joined by his mum for the conversation. Guess how old his mother is?
He's not young.
Jess, Kay is 90.
Oh, leave Kay alone.
Leave the poor woman alone and stop putting her on your red table.
So is it possible we can bring your mom out? The woman that they call K-Mac?
Hey! So young looking. Now, which one's which? Come on.
That's my mother. Willow's my daughter.
Uh-huh.
And that's my mommy. And I'm her mommy.
Okay, so you got 3 generations.
We got 3 generations.
Stop putting her on the Facebook.
Enough sharing. Kay does not need to be sharing on Red Table Talk.
Kay has places to be, people to see. Let the woman rest.
I just thought
she's retired.
It felt exploitative.
Yeah.
In another episode in 2019, Jada had Esther Perel on the show and talked about transgressions in her marriage. She said, I'm asked a lot about, is there infidelity in your relationship with Will?
That's because you talked about your entanglement with 22-year-old August.
You know, I'm asked a lot about, is there infidelity in your relationship with Will? And it's like, no. But there have been other betrayals of the heart that have been far bigger than I could even think in regards to an infidelity situation. When you talk about contempt or resentment or what have you, neglect.
And it's like, okay, that was in 2019. So one, it was before August. It was before the August
secondly,
thing. So
you're
it's
married to the guy.
And secondly, well, according to my timeline, it's been 2 years, you're not together. So it's weird that people ask about infidelity when you're not together. Poor Esther Perel. She goes, what a waste of my time.
I'm a respectable couples therapist. And I'm sitting here trying to help you. You're not together.
You're not together. Esther goes, no, that's not.
You haven't seen each other in 6 months.
Waste of my time. What if I went to a psychologist and I was like, hey, yeah, couples counselling. I'm just going to sit here for an hour. At the end, by the way, we're not together. Oh, what a waste. Could have helped someone else. In another episode, Jada spoke about her sex toy addiction and the time she intuited.
I can't believe she can do breaks in her masturbation schedule to do Red Table Talk and speak to Matthew McConaughey's mum.
And also the time she intuited that her son Jaden had lost his virginity. Everything that has ever happened has been shared on Red Table Talk, and it is simply too much. Jess, it's time for charges and sentences. Jess, my charge, and it's a charge that I don't think we've seen it in the council courtroom, but we should, because I think there's a lot of people who are guilty of it.
All right.
It's being vulnerable to the point where we no longer make sense. Okay?
Yes.
It's going,
yes.
I'm vulnerable. I share something that contradicts what I've been saying for 7 years. Jada.
It's also vulnerable to the point. Okay. The vulnerability threshold. So we share a little bit. Likeable.
Yeah, lovely.
Deprecation. Great. We share enough that it's like, and I'm not saying this is Jada, but it's like, I'm a bad person. And it's like, oh, not so likable. Like, there's a line. She's fallen over it in terms of the vulnerability. And she's like, I'm actually a criminal. All I do is cheat. And I can't put my sex toys down. And it's like, you need to work through that privately with a therapist.
Yeah, it's that. So I just think, look, we've all been there. We've all shared and then gone, I think I shared something that wasn't true.
Yeah.
But my sentence is this.
Yep.
And it's going to be really hard for her. Actually, no more revelations. Moratorium on revelations. I've got in my notes, facts only. Just facts. No more revelation. Just like you can do Red Table Talk, but no more insights from your life. Only facts. I actually think interview people, other people, not yourself, and just let's go for some straight facts. And it's going to be hard.
One revelation.
It's going to be hard because you're going to be interviewing someone and you're going to say, I want a revelation that. Can I make that my revelation? No, Jada. You've had enough revelations for one single lifetime. No more.
What if the fact is also a revelation?
No.
Okay.
It's not. It's not.
Okay.
Because the truth isn't quite as exciting as the story she's been telling. Jessie, what's your charge?
Okay. My charge is not knowing what's just a chat. Okay.
What's just a chat? Yeah.
When I was listening to Jay Shetty, I thought, this is fine, but it's just a chat. It's a chat between friends. And in fact, the podcast industry is going too far down this lane where they go, why have a chat when we can make a podcast? Two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
So Jay Shetty, like there's just a lot of podcasters. I don't think Jada's just had a chat.
Yeah.
10 years.
I think every
a friend's
time.
like, hey, Jada, we should catch up. And she's like, Red Table Talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Great point. I think her and Hoda are friends.
Yeah.
And Hoda was like, hey, do you want to catch up for a coffee? She's like, no, but I do want to be on NBC prime time.
Yeah. And then Jay didn't. Is like, Mum, let's have a chat. I'm your kid. And she's like, want to talk about virginity on Red Table Talk? She's like, oh, I've got a free hour between 9 and 10. Jada, is that on Red Table Talk?
Jada, why are you in hair and makeup? Why is the studio ready?
I agree that she's got to put the brake on revelations. But I want some crazy shit to happen.
Oh my God, yes.
Crazy
and no
shit.
one's going to believe her.
Crazy
She's
shit.
going to see an alien.
This is classic Lance Armstrong. You know, when we said about Lance Armstrong, we're like, we want him to see an alien because no one will believe that he saw the alien. This is Jada Pinkett. Like, I want Will Smith to have an affair with a fucking Meghan Markle. I want Jaden to have triplets with Dakota Fanning. Like, I just want things to be dropping out of the sky. I want her to be sitting there talking to her friend Matthew McConaughey and Matthew McConaughey just drop a bombshell and her to be like, all I want is this to be at the red table, but no more revelations.
Everybody has said you're banned.
You're banned and no one will believe you.
Exactly right. I think aliens 100%. Spaceship crashes at her home.
Yes.
And aliens are just walking around. And she's like, guys, I just discovered extraterrestrial life. And everyone's like, shut it, Jada, shut it. We've all got a set amount of revelations we're allowed to make. She has made them. And
She's passed her threshold.
Any from now on will not be believed or taken seriously.
No, I agree.
Jesse, that's all we've got time for on today's episode of Cancelled. You can follow us at @the_twins_thoughts for receipts. We have some great tweets. We will put them up, I promise. This episode was produced by Talissa Bazaz with audio production by Thom, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.